Today I'm going to share with you all the books, everything that I used for second grade in year 2 of Ambleside Online. I'm also going to review these books quickly as I go through them. So get a cup of coffee or some tea if you don't drink coffee, find some laundry to fold, go do some dishes, or just sit back and relax as I go through all of these books. Hi, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Andrea, and I am a homeschooling mom of one 8-year-old girl who is in second grade, and she's also doing year 2 of Ambleside Online. This is our second year homeschooling, and I am so excited to share with you everything that we have been doing this year. I cannot believe the amount of books we have gone through this year alone, and it's just unfortunate that I didn't keep track of all the free reads that are apart from the Ambleside Online free reads list that my daughter has read. I would do things a little bit differently because I've seen lots of videos where moms just share all these books that they have gone through the whole year. But for someone who hasn't done Ambleside Online, and you're just like getting FOMO and just picking these books randomly and not knowing how to use them, I will just share what books we used for what term. So when I talk about term 1, I will share the books that we read during term 1. When we get to term 2, I'll share any extra books that we added to the schedule and so forth. I do all of the read alouds for Ambleside Online. Without further ado, let's start with, but before I talk about Ambleside Online, I will talk about our core subjects so we can get that out of the way, and then I will have a timetable telling you when each curricula started. So you guys already know, because I've shared it here before, we use All About Reading for language arts. For our language arts, we have 3 books. So we use All About Reading for phonics. She's on level 4 currently. We use All About Spelling. She's currently on level 2. You guys know I love All About Reading. It's gonna be our last one. She's a little sad, but I'm glad that we're going to be done with reading and free up a little bit of time too. All About Spelling, she's currently on level 2. We are nearly halfway through this book, and I haven't decided yet completely. I'm still debating what I will do with spelling for year 3 and 3rd grade. Not sure yet. Don't know if things are sticking long-term memory. I don't know if it's sticking, and so I don't know if I want to keep doing something as structured as this, but this is what we're using for year 2. Of course, each of these books they don't come, you have to put these together, and I have reviewed this before. With these binders, it's the workbook, and I just put them in binders and I organize them in the beginning of the school year, right before it starts. So All About Spelling, the other one was All About Reading. All About Reading also comes with these readers, and my daughter is obsessed with them. She loves these little stories. She just loves readers. She loves little stories, and it's been great for her. So she's kind of sad that this will be the last thing. We are doing the Poodle series from Michael Clay Thompson. You all know I'm a big fan of it, and this is the last book, book 6 of the series, and I'm so excited. We are going to start this on Monday when we resume our homeschool. This week we are off, taking a well-deserved break, and of course language arts, it was here hiding handwriting. My daughter does Get It Dubai, and she is on book C. That's the italic She is working on being consistent with her slant. I feel like she got the July good here in January, but she's still working on her slant. Sometimes she does it great, and sometimes she doesn't. So I'll be more diligent about sitting next to her and making sure that she's getting it right or sending the work back, erasing and sending it back for her to do it again. Now for math, you all know our math saga. We are finishing up Singapore Math, Primary Mathematics, US edition. And I like it. I really like, this is a solid math curriculum. Solid. My daughter is doing well. She's learning. We also use Singapore Math Live videos to go along with these books. This way I don't have to teach it. There's a video of a teacher. You don't even see her face. It's just her voice and the screen of her writing on the screen, kind of like on an iPad. All right, so math, this was good. And I shared in another video that we started also Life of Fred. And there are 4 books. My daughter loves it. We will continue with this in the new year. It's a living book. Now, let me see if there's anything else here. I think I basically dropped a lot of things that we started the year doing, like financial literacy. I'll just review that. We did financial literacy, first grade. We started financial literacy, second grade. Let's see how far we got into this. We got as far as 1/4 of the book. And maybe I'll have my daughter work on this over the summer, just because I do like financial literacy and she actually enjoys this book. We just didn't have time. We started Ambleside Online and it became too much. So I set it aside. It's still here on my cart. I have my cart next to me. Something else that we do sporadically is Inference Jones. This was something that we started, I don't remember when we started. We actually date. We started July 28th last year. So right in the beginning of the school year. And my daughter has done, let's see, about 1/3 of it. We had to drop a lot of these logic books because there was no time. I didn't want to be overwhelming my daughter. So once in a while, she picks it up and she does one lesson. We also have Mind Benders. This is her, I think this is the second or the third. I don't remember how many books. Level 3. So yeah, so this is the 3rd book of Mind Benders. She started doing Mind Benders in first grade. And through first grade, second grade, she basically just got started on this one. And I had to set it aside. Again, something else that she can do on her own time. This is just free for all. Do whenever you want. I don't have high expectations about this. It's not on the schedule. And more recently, I picked up Word Ladders, Daily Word Ladders. Again, it's little logic book with little clues. So there's like, you start down here and then it tells you what it is that the word is and then gives you a clue to change or to add or something. And then she works her way up to the top. So this is also fun, also for her to do in her own time. This is for 2nd and 3rd grade. All right, I think that's it. Now, other things that I had here that I was doing myself and I ended up outsourcing. We're still doing philosophy. This is the book we started, Big Ideas for Curious Minds. This is a wonderful book and we'll read this. We will read this. We read a few chapters of this before I outsourced philosophy. So she takes Socratic method philosophy classes weekly through Outschool. So I don't have to do one more reading, but I definitely will pick it up from time to time. This is a great book. I'm so glad I own this. As you all know, when I started Ambleside Online, I did not embrace the entire schedule. Why? Because I consider myself an eclectic, secular homeschooler. And things have changed over the course of this year following Ambleside Online. So this is what my schedule looked like. I scratched all of the Bibles. This is Old Testament, New Testament, and I scratched Trial and Triumph. So first term one, we did all of the books except for the Bible and biblical figures, if you will. But we did all the books. So let's start here. Term one of Ambleside Online. For history, we worked and still are working with This Country of Ours, and those readings are scheduled. We don't read the entire book from cover to cover. They tell you which chapter to read that week, and then you just go to that week, and everything is connected. So you're reading about the same time period, and a lot of those characters of history appear in these books so the kids can make connections. So I think it's brilliant. The second book is Our Island Story. And sometimes I have my daughter follow along this one, and I have the audio for it. And I got it on the public domain. So if you look up either on Ambleside Online, they actually offer links. And a lot of these books I found through the Ambleside Online website. So amazing resources, amblesideonline.org. I think that's the name of the website. Sorry if I am mistaken. The third book is A Child's History of the World. This book is lovely. I love the way they tell a story. They tell the story. Virgil M. Hillier. It's wonderful. I really enjoyed this book. My daughter's favorite book of history of these three is Our Island Story, undoubtedly. She loves it, and I think she really likes the LibriVox lady that reads it. I rarely read this one. She mostly listens to this one. We listen together and follow along with the book. Sometimes I read. I'm not going to say I never read. I do read sometimes. That's history. Then we read Little Duke, but that one I downloaded on my Kindle and I was reading on my iPad. So Little Duke was historic fiction, and it was really fun to read. My daughter really liked it. She really enjoyed the story. I think it's because the little Duke, Richard, he was 8 years old in the beginning of the story. So the kids are about at about the same age, and they can relate to the character. So it was really lovely. The next book on the schedule on the book list is the Burgess Animal book for children. It's Burgess Animal by Thornton Burgess. And my daughter loves it. Anytime I ask her, what do you want to read first? She'll say Burgess Animal. And it took her a while to say Burgess. She kept saying Burgess because I might have said that first. Another book from the Ambleside Online list that I love, this is a mom's book. This book is for the moms. I am convinced. I cry. I find it so beautiful from the first reading. Lovely book. We also did Tree in the Trail. Now, before we did Tree in the Trail, I did go back to year one book list, and we read Paddle to the Sea. Of all the books we've read so far, Paddle to the Sea was my daughter's favorite. We did Shakespeare. She loves it. If anyone is scared of doing Shakespeare, this is we love Nesbit. We love her. And this is a wonderful book. We also read, I tried to read Pilgrim's Progress, but again, I was very Christian for me at the time. But at the same time, I thought it had good values in it. So I ended up getting Dangerous Journey because the original book was too much for both her and I. Since we had not done Ambleside Online for year one, we weren't used to the language. Now I feel that if we'd read something like this now, we would be okay with it. So we worked through Dangerous Journey. My daughter loves it. I really love it because it's basically a book of parables almost. It's really wonderful. I highly recommend it, whether you are Christian or not. I think it's a good book of virtues, I guess, virtues. Then we did Understood Betsy. I'm gonna put the book here because I don't own it. I ended up downloading it to my Kindle, and we also did the LibriVox audiobook. So we would listen and follow along on the book on Kindle. Then for poetry, all of the year two, we have used this book here, the Ambleside Online Poetry Anthology. I really like it. My daughter really loves Christina Rossetti. And I think, which is so amazing, is that Fred from Life of Fred comments, I can't remember which book, but he mentions that his favorite poet is Christina Rossetti. So here we are, finding so many connections in so many of the books, and it's just really great how everything just comes together. This was year two of term one of year two. Sorry about that. It's a lot. And then, there's the daily work. I showed you guys how I was organizing the daily work. This was for term one, and we were doing on top of our schooling, we started doing Italian in term one, and piano, physical activity. My daughter has been all year doing ballet. This is her third year of ballet. She actually graduated right before we went to Brazil in December. She graduated for the next level of her ballet program, and she's in the swim team, as well as she does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for martial arts. So the only book really that's changed for term two was Wind in the Willow. We finished for term one, we finished Understood Betsy, and then we moved on to The Wind in the Willows. Now, this book was a little hard for my daughter to get into because I couldn't find an audio version that she enjoyed, and she just preferred me reading. And it's not an easy book to read, but we managed. And about halfway through the book, she got into it. And she really liked Toad because Toad was so flawed and human. And, she had like a love-hate relationship with him, which is so he wanted so badly to be good, but he couldn't be good. So I think there's so much value. There was so much value in this book. It's worth sticking with it if you're struggling and your kid's not really getting into it. Stick with it. And Seabird was the other book that we read. I got confused there in the beginning, but Seabird we actually read on year two. Tree in the Trail, which I cannot find here. It's probably back there somewhere, so I'll put the book here so you can see which one we read for term one. And that's the only difference. We continue doing poetry. We continue with daily work and all the things. You can see here how for term two, we completed term two, and I still had all the Bible and the Trial and Triumph crossed over because I wasn't doing that. Also, we were traveling, and it was amazing that we even finished term two. We finished term two when we did. Now for term three, nothing is crossed anymore. Nothing is crossed. This is what my actual schedule looks like. We've completed 3 weeks of that term, and we are doing everything, but I'm doing things a little bit differently. And I didn't mention geography, but I'll get to it. I'm doing it differently because I really think the Old Testament is a really hard one to read, and I'm afraid that if I get my daughter with that, she will start not liking the Bible. So I use a King James version of the Bible in English. I started with it in Portuguese, but then I decided to do something else. I bought this 365 histories, biblical histories for children, and it's in Portuguese. I bought it when we're in Brazil. So every day she just reads one passage, just one. It's a story of the Bible. So it's really cute. There's all 365 stories, so she gets to read one, sometimes two, because we don't school every single day and she doesn't read every single day. So we read this 5 days a week. She reads it 4 to 5 days a week, depending if we have CC going. We do this for the Old Testament part. So that's when I check the Old Testament, but we do it daily, not just once a week. And we do this one for the New Testament. We use this Bible for the New Testament. And it's once a week. We do not read every day. So we do kind of like a Bible study little thing with this every single day in Portuguese. So we crossed two things out of our list, which is Bible and Portuguese, which is part of our enrichment curriculum. For literature, what changed? Robin Hood. My daughter is loving this. It's so hard to read. The language is not the easiest. I'm managing, I'm getting more used to it, but this is the literature book for term 3. And it is this change, and also there is another book that changed, and that is the biography. It's Joan of Arc. I think I'm saying it right, Joan of Arc. And she really loves this book. She loves it, and so do I. My daughter is a history fanatic. She loves history. So speaking of history, she has, on top of all these history books, she has done History Quest, Ancient Times, and she's currently in Middle Times, Medieval Age, and she's listening to it. I own the audio version of the book, and she loves it. I've mentioned here before that we read the secular books of history called Unstoppable Us 1 and 2. We also read these books. I read aloud to her. We had conversations about it. It's extremely secular. And even though I wasn't very religious at the time, and I don't even know if that would be a word that would describe me, I'm not very religious, but I wasn't very Christian, I would say. I wasn't very Christian then. But some of the things that were said there was extremely secular, and I had to have conversations with my daughter explaining that certain people see history differently and people write history differently, and it's important that we know how to distinguish what's right from what's wrong. So I do like to expose her to different school of thoughts. I think that's good. It's a good thing. Trial and Triumph, we started reading it, and here's how I scheduled. Since we didn't do term 1 and term 2, and it is 3 readings per term, I scheduled 1 reading per week. So we have done Charlemagne, Elizabeth of Hungary, and Alfred the Great. And we're going to keep going. So we're doing reading from term 1, term 3, term 1. Then term 1, term 3, term 3, term 2. Then term 2, term 2, term 3. And that's the end of Trial and Triumph. It's not scheduled all year. It stops right here on week 32. What else? What else have we done? Lots more. So we read Buffalo Bill. This is a book from year 1, if I'm not mistaken. She read it. She read it herself, and she narrated that to me. She didn't have to, but she wanted to. We read Abraham Lincoln, and some of these books are going to be either free reads from year 2 or scheduled for year 1. Now I don't know which one is which. I'm not keeping that much track. Benjamin Franklin, I believe this one was from year 1. Then we read, this wasn't scheduled. I think this is year 3 or year 4. George Washington, because my daughter loves Hamilton and U.S. history, and she just wanted to. And I also own this one, so we're still working on it. We're about halfway through it. Once in a while we read this one. She's really interested in U.S. history, and I can't wait to get started on formal U.S. history education. Other books that I did not mention, geography, we use this very lightly, these geography books. We've done lots of traveling, so there has been lots of geography study done on the go, like real life experience. Now, books that I have read to her, favorite book of all this year, 5 Children in It. This is a free read from year 2. Second favorite, Mr. Popper's Penguin. She loved it. I read these 2 aloud for her. The Pied Piper of Hamelin. She read this one. It's a poetry, kind of a poetry book. It's really cute. Seeker of the Knowledge. I'm not sure where this one falls into, but we read this one a couple of times. She really liked this book. It Could Always Be Worse. This one I found on one of the videos, and someone said, oh, this is such a great book. And it is. It's a great book. And my daughter actually asked me to read several times. The Important Book. This is such a cute little book. It's really cute, really little. My daughter also asked me to read several times. She read it herself a few times. And it was another book that I got a recommendation from another video. Not sure, I don't think it's scheduled anywhere. This is a free read, Chanticleer and the Fox. And this we've read with funny voices also at least 2 or 3 times. Really fun little book. Other books that I had my daughter read aloud to me was the McGuffey Reader. She read the first Eclectic Reader and the second Eclectic Reader, and she just read them aloud. That's all I asked of her. And books that we are currently reading and didn't finish. The Door in the Wall, my daughter started reading this one by herself, silently. She took the mark out, but she's close to finishing this book. I may want to read it. I don't think she was really interested in doing the reading herself, so I may read it aloud. She read Little House in the Big Woods. She has the whole collection of this she got from her grandma. And I think it's Farmer Boy and Little House in the Prairie. I don't know how to say that. And she's going to read those 2 next. But I thought that was a decently sized book. And she read the whole book by herself and she really enjoyed it. She told me that she wasn't too into it in the beginning, and then, so many lessons about being consistent on reading. I set a timer for 20 minutes and she needs to do a free read from Ambleside Online. So this term 3, I have become more consistent about the free reads, and I want her to start reading from the Ambleside free reads list. She can pick whichever book she wants, but she needs to read. And if it's a book that she owns that's from the same author, she can read it too, but I would like her to be reading at least 4 or 5 books of that free list on her own. We also started reading Brighty on the Grand Canyon book. We didn't finish this book, but we're going to finish. We just read about 1/3 of it, but we're going to finish this book. Another book that I brought in from year 1 was James Herriot's Treasury for Children, and we are reading 1 story a week. We started it a couple of weeks ago, and we started the year Ambleside Online with Aesop's Fable, and I had separated the weeks here, and we read most of the book, not completely, but something else that we're also going to be reading through the summer. I will have all these books that we started and didn't finish to be read from here on through the summer. Free reads that she wants to read. Mrs. Pigglewiggle, she wants to read this book, so I bought it for her. It's a smallish book. She's going to read that. I have a Wonder Book for Girls and Boys from Nathaniel Hawthorne, and this is a book I will read aloud to her. Her dad has the book of Greek mythology from Dolaire. I sent it with him on Monday, and I told him that it would be nice if he did some read aloud with her. So I'm not sure if that's gonna get done, but maybe it will, maybe it will not. And then we'll do that Greek myths book over the summer. I will read it to her. And another book that I also want to read is Viking Tales. That was a year 1 book that was highly recommended. If you could read anything from year 1, they recommended it to be. I actually have a little sticky note here somewhere here. 50 Famous Stories and Viking Tales. Those are the 2 year 1 books that they recommend you read if you haven't done year 1. So we do 50 Famous Stories a week. It's actually on my calendar. If you look here, I added some of these stories of these. This is 50 Famous Stories, and this is the Greek mythology year 1. You can see here year 1 we didn't do. And I also added the treasury books. If we get it done, we get. If we don't, we don't. And I think those are all the books. I am positive that we have read other books on the Kindle, and my daughter has done a ton of books on her own, books that she owns, that we own. And she's been doing a lot of repeats. She has this book of human body theater. It's kind of like a graphic novel about the human body, so she's really into that. She's reading this book, and she has other science books about wind and ocean and that she's into, and it's also a little bit of a graphic novel. She's really, I'm being very diligent about making sure that she has a variety of things. She really likes graphic novels, and I think that's kind of like a common thing for that age. I used to be obsessed with graphic novels when I was her age, and I make sure that she's doing her free read of her choice, and also that she's doing the free read that will expand her mind. So I am setting an alarm every day for 20 minutes for her to do the free reads from Ambleside Online, or any other book that will expand her mind. But she can read whichever she wants, whatever she wants, whenever she wants. I am reading is better than not reading. I don't care what she's reading. And I am sure that over time she will start to recognize what is a good book and what's a not so good book, or maybe what Charlotte Mason would call twaddle. But yeah, I believe this is it. There was one more thing here that I didn't show. She's been working on this little gratitude journal for the last, I don't know how many years, 2022. And I actually am asking her now to start to write. She used to draw on it, whatever she was feeling, and now I'm asking her to write, do a little bit of writing. So kind of like a light thing, something that she does for 5 minutes in the morning. So, and I have the Big Life Journal for next year too. So I'm definitely wanting her to develop the habit of journaling. So we're starting little small with a fun little book and go from there. Habits, building habits for a life that will foster writing, self-reflection, and growth. A growth mindset. If you stayed all the way to the end, I really appreciate you being here. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment to let me know if you've read any of these books. If there's any free reads from year 2 that you have read and you would like to recommend us to read that we cannot miss, please do so. And also let me know if there's anything specific that you would like me to talk about, and I'll put it on my list of videos. I have a big list of videos, and I seem to not be able to get around to do all of them. But if I stay consistent, I can do one video a week, and this way I can eventually tackle all the things I want to talk about. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.